Yo, what's good guys? Koshertech here. So, the Pixel 6. Now, basically I just want to answer the question in the sense of who is this phone for? Now, it retails for $600, 428 gigs, and for $700 for 256. So, the price point, I gotta say, it is right there. It's perfectly honestly priced. It's not too expensive. Now, it has 8 gigs of RAM, which is nice. I'm not going to really spec out this video. I'm going to have anything I missed or all the specs basically in the description below. I'm going to talk about the specs as I'm describing the phone and whatnot. Ultimately, the build quality, I got to say, it's really, really nice. It has this sort of foam design, of course. It's really dope. We have a dual camera setup. Of course, it has this nice little green. I mean, the color options are there on their website. We have a 50 megapixel wide and a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera. On the front, we have an 8 megapixel camera. It's nice. I gotta say, the specs are nice. We have buttons here. It feels really good. As a 6.4 inch size display, it's gonna feel really good in your hands. So if you have a little smaller hands, or if you have bigger hands, overall it's just like it's a work phone. It's a grab and go type of phone. Easy in the sense of just, open up the keyboard, just writing whatever, what's this clipboard? Writing whatever you gotta write and just keeping it moving in that sense. It's not too intrusive, but like I said, it also packs a nice camera. It's also 4K, so you do get those options. But most importantly, what makes it even more of a work phone is the battery life. The battery life is gonna last you a lot. The battery life is better than the 6 Pro, 4600 milliamp battery. So it's in that sense, it's gonna last you a lot longer. And the Pixel Pro, actually, it's not gonna be a comparison video, but the Pixel 6 Pro is basically a 5000 milliamp battery. But it does have a 90 hertz display refresh rate, which actually is pretty dope. I'm gonna show you guys in a second. You do basically have a nice refresh. The pictures are gonna show a lot better. Everything on this phone actually pops. Now, as you guys are gonna scroll through the video, I did also do a bunch of things for the camera testing. Now, the camera testing, it was absolutely insane. I gotta say, what they offer in the sense for the video stabilization, I went over that. For the speech enhancement, as well as I went over that. I'm gonna go into detail on the camera in a few seconds. I just want to mention that. Definitely check out those. It's pretty mind blowing, essentially what Google did. But overall, let's go in the sense of let's talk about in a sense for the sense of the battery and display. Now, for battery usage, of course, depending on your usage, I mean, if you're not really that into watching a lot of YouTube videos, if you're not doing too much of that and video calls, the battery is going to last you a good time. But if you're mostly just putting emails, texting, watching some videos, it's going to last you over 8 hours. It's 7 hours, I want to say, in the safe side. Of course, we do have adaptive. So we do have adaptive battery, and then we have adaptive battery and adaptive charging. Now, adaptive charging basically charges steadily overnight to preserve the long battery life. So when this is a 30, you're going to get a 30 watt fast charging brick. So when you're going to plug it in and you're going to have this on at, I believe at 10 o'clock, it's not going to charge at the 30 watts. It's going to bring it down. So it's going to charge your phone longer for a longer duration instead of it charging a much faster and your phone basically sitting at max charge time at 100% for like 8 hours or 6 hours. That's actually a really dope feature. It's going to actually preserve your battery a lot longer. Now, if you are on the go and you're like, look, I can't do this, you could always just just turn this off, plug it in, and your battery is going to charge a lot faster. Now, another cool thing I got to say is the battery share option. So battery share, so if your phone, let's say you have a Pixel 3, right? 3 XL, if I have a phone that's, the battery is really, really low, what I'm essentially going to do is I'm going to flip this, and I'm going to put the 3 XL. Now, 3 XL doesn't even have a battery share, but it's still going to work. It's at 74%. Now, it's going to take a little longer for it to charge, but if I got 10% and if I got to go somewhere, it's going to give me at least some juice in that sense. It's actually pretty cool. It's a neat option if you ever do have someone that needs to charge their phone really fast or someone's phone is just really low. You do have that option. Of course, show percentage and whatnot, you could turn that off. Now for display, of course, we have adaptive brightness. You could turn it off, turn it on. I usually just leave it on, but if it's in the sense of you always want to make it bright, you could just go here and just make it bright automatically in that sense. But you do have adaptive brightness. We do have dark theme, of course, font size, colors. I just keep it at that in my sense. Now, smooth display, like I did say, you do have the 90 hertz. You could turn this off. It also will preserve your battery. you can turn this off or on. It's going to give you 90 hertz. Now, if you're wondering, hey, how do I, how do I know if it's running at 90 hertz? Just go to your system, go to developer options, go to show refresh rate, and then you're going to see 90 hertz in the sense of refresh rate. So what you could also do is you could force peak refresh rate. You could essentially lock that, so it's always going to be at 90. So for instance, if you say we go on Instagram, if we're on the gram, right, it's going to be at 90. But I believe if you're going to pause it, it should actually drop to 60. But for some reason, it's still going at 90. Previously, it was just on. So it's here. If you ever want to know if it's at 90, you could see it here. It is at 90 hertz. Now, of course, you could always keep it on or turn it off as you choose. Now for the live translation or just for the speech to text, the speech to text is pretty dope. So if I want to, let's say, hey, how are you tonight? Period. Do you want to hang out? Comma. No, comma. Oh, I said comma. I meant question mark. Oh, shoot. Okay. Now let me just turn it. Speech enhancement is pretty accurate. It is pretty dope. Now for the live translate, which is actually cool. So if you have something, so go to Google Translate, you could turn on your camera and it's going to translate that text. So here I have it just Russian to English. Here I have something in Russian, right? So for instance, I want to know now, it's not going to give you it's going to give you a decent, so I just aim. So it says here, this guy who I like is interested 2D only. So it's going to give you a good translation. I mean, that's what she wrote here. But I mean, it's going to give you a whole breakdown, but it doesn't work as, I mean, you guys see it as exactly how it works. So it's going to work in many other languages. Oh, now the phone just turned off. It's going to work in many other languages too. I'm going to show you guys different languages, but it does have that. It's a little weird, but I hope they're going to basically, improve it over time. But for languages, it's Google. I mean, we have plenty of languages here. You guys see all these languages. I'm just scrolling. You do have those options. You do have the speech enhancement for all the stuff. If you're ever traveling, if you want to just, talk and it's going to just transcribe, you do have that options here with this, which is pretty dope. Now for the speakers, right? This one thing I am disappointed on the 6 as well, on the Pro as well. So for instance, if we go to, so it does have stereo speakers built in. So we have one on top of the earpiece and the one on the right hand speaker is the other speaker. So that's your stereo. This speaker on the left is a microphone. So if you're ever wondering why is this speaker not working, like when I got the phone, I'm like, why is this speaker? So this is just for the microphone. It's stereo sounds, the right speaker and the earpiece speaker.
I caught basically.
It's just not as loud. It's not as loud that I like it to be. Especially also when you have someone on speakerphone and you're talking to them. I just wish it was a bit louder.
$400. Yeah, it's 3 fans, 2 on the box. For some reason, I got
the 1080p display is a decent looking display. Really,
this is the ST120 RGB fans, high static pressure radiator PWM fans, which is nice.
It's a decent display. Honestly, it's not one of the. It's not the Pro. You're not gonna have all that bells and whistles, but for the camera, it is really nice, especially for the video. In the rear, we do have a 4K 60 frames per second, and you could turn it down to basically 30, as well as you could put it down back to 1080, which you do have that nice option, and you guys are going to see that in the video. Now, if we flip it to the front, we only have 1080 and not 4K. But overall, so when you go for the speech enhancement, you guys would hear the speech enhancement actually makes it made a night and day for the traffic when I was standing out there. When I turned it on, it actually muffled out more of the traffic and increased my voice. For video stabilization, as well, it actually did a really good job when I was running. You guys are going to see it actually stabilized the video. Now, that's on standard. You're going to have it at 4K. But if you're going to put it on active for heavy movement, it's going to downscale the video. It's not going to shoot it at 4K. It's going to be at 1080. So if you're wondering, why is your video quality that much different when I was shooting it on standard to active, it's because it actually downscaled it to 1080, which I was a little disappointed. But when I also had it in active, the Tensor chip, or it wasn't enough RAM, for some reason, it didn't make it as smooth that it was in standard. So if you look back at standard was much smoother than active. I don't know what that is, but it actually did that. I was a little surprised. the camera does do a good job for a phone that's basically priced at this price point. So like I said, ultimately, if you want just a machine that basically works really good, the fingerprint sensor, this is in November, so this fingerprint sensor did get approved by the patch, but it's not all there because when you have to hold it, so when you press it like this, your phone, you see it says hold a little longer, but you have to basically hold it for the fingerprint sensor to actually sense your finger and for it to work. But overall, I gotta say the design for the price, the Pixel 6 actually doesn't disappoint. It is a good phone. As I guess, as they update it, it's gonna actually improve significantly more. So if you're in the market, if you don't need all the bells and whistles, if you just need something that's basically on the go with good battery and a good enough camera for video, except when it was at night. You guys saw that at night shot for video. It didn't do a good job, but you know, it is at night. What can I say? It is what it is. But overall, the Pixel 6 phone, the Pixel 6 does not disappoint, guys. Let me know what you cats think of the 6 Pro. Anything I missed or anything, let me know in the comments. But as always, guys, I'm Koshertech. We'll catch you cats next time. Deuces. All right, so behind me, you guys could hear and see, I got a noisy highway behind me. Now, I do have speech enhancement turned off. I want to see if there's going to be more of a difference with speech enhancement turned on. So what it's going to do is it's going to increase more of my voice and clarity. And it's going to kind of brush off the background noise. So it's going to be more of my noise compared to the background noise from the highway and from the busy streets of New York. All right, so we have speech enhancement turned on. Now again, more of my voice should be the target rather than the background noise. The background noise should be kind of blocked out, and so more of my voice and whatever subject that's going on directly, I guess, facing me and to the camera, to the speaker, should be it. I got lost in train of thought over there, but you guys can see this car's still going. So it's the same thing. Let me know if there's going to be a difference. But when I heard speech enhancement, I actually do like it. It actually increased for me, it increased more of my voice than the background noise that's going on right now in the busy streets, of course, of New York. All right, so I'm just basically walking. Obviously, I'm using the front-facing camera. Now, I want to see how the stabilization is going to essentially work on this phone. Now, for the front-facing, now for the rear-facing, it has already a stabilization mode that's built in. Now, the front-facing, I don't see any options. So let's just basically see. I am holding the phone one-handed. This is my hand over here. This is my hand over here. No gimbal, none of that stuff. So in a real-world scenario, if you're recording something, I want to see if it's actually gonna look pretty good. Now, when I looked at it in the background, it actually didn't look as wobbly. When I'm looking at it now, it's looking pretty wobbly. But when I stopped recording the video and I basically went to my files, it looked pretty decent. But again, let me know what you guys think. Speech enhancement is off. All right, so you do have your zoom options over here. Right now, we're at 1x zoom. So we're just checking out here, standing on Queens Boulevard. Start passes. We're gonna zoom in. We got 1.6, 2.0, 2x zoom, 2.8, 4, 5.6, and 7x. Now mobile is blurry. You guys can see, and I'm just turning the phone to zoom out a little bit. Oh, damn, this thing just zoomed out so fast. So we're basically back to 1. So it goes all the way up to 7. We're all the way back to 1. Now the zoom options from the front-facing camera. So right now we just have it at the preset. So the preset right now is at 1, and then we have 1.4. But I could also zoom it up more. Let me just hold it on this side so you guys be easier. So this is 2. And it goes all the way up to 4. So this is 4x zoom. Look into my eyes. Let me zoom out. This thing's crazy. All right, so I do have the video stabilizer basically turned on to standard. So I'm gonna start lightly jogging. We're gonna see how it's gonna look. All right, so I'm lightly jogging, holding the phone in one hand. It's my other hand over here, holding the phone in my right hand. Turning the camera. Lightly jogging still. Moving it. We're gonna see how we process it. It's buzz. Still going. All right, now I'm walking. All right, so I switched the video stabilization to active, so that's with heavy movement. So again, I'm gonna start jogging. All right, started jogging. Oh, again, hand over here, holding with my right hand. It's turning. On the other side. We're gonna see how we process it. Still going. It's wobbly as heck at my end. Some cars. Alright, so I'm gonna start walking. Alright, so having the front facing now, I'm gonna do a light jogging. I want to see how it stabilizes. Now on the front facing camera, there's no option to stabilize, but I still think it has some sort of stability built in. Light jogging. Let me know if it's gonna be wobbly. Again. So just taking a look at some colors over here with the leaves. See some green, big yellow. Beautiful. Nothing beats New York City without them horns honking, man. These dudes' cars beat up. So it's dark out. It's the best time to actually test the front-facing camera. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how it looks.